Fresh off the heels of yesterday's best LEGO Star Wars rumor of 2025, we have what might be the worst LEGO Star Wars rumor of 2025, with a clone turbo tank. The kicker? Apparently, it'll cost $50. We'll discuss more in just a second, but first, pay no attention to the Snow Captain Rex. It's not a hint or anything, I was just feeling a bit nostalgic. I bought a Frico Speeder today. They need to make a set with Snow Captain Rex. I just wanted to get that in somewhere. Now, just like yesterday's UTAT video, everything in this one is an unconfirmed rumor or speculation on my part, and so it should go without saying, but yeah, these rumors could end up not coming true. They're rumors after all. Now, we have three to talk about today, and I want to start us off with the worst one. There's some other ones, but the worst one's got to be first here with the clone turbo tank. Apparently, set number 75414 is a $50, 349-piece clone turbo tank, and if you heard that in a vacuum, you might just assume that this is part of the MIDI scale, except LEGO renamed MIDI scale to Starship Collection, making something like a clone turbo tank not make sense for Starship Collection since it has wheels. So I'm ruling that out, on top of the fact that the other information that's out there right now in this set is that it quote-unquote includes minifigs, and then there's other leakers that are saying that this is a Rebuild the Galaxy set, but they aren't specifically saying that it's not a clone turbo tank from Rebuild the Galaxy, so maybe it's like a Season 2 clone turbo tank, Rebuild the Galaxy, downscale, micro, I don't know what's going on there, but if it ends up kind of being a weird clone turbo tank from Rebuild the Galaxy, it becomes a little more palatable that it's $50 and 349 pieces and would be absolutely horrible as a clone turbo tank. Now, a while back, I happened to do a video taking a look at some fake LEGO Star Wars sets, and in that one, there was a clone turbo tank, and that clone turbo tank was quite small. It could maybe be the expected size of what a $50 clone turbo tank could look like, and it's still the most absurd thing that I've ever heard. Like, I don't even think this is reasonable for $50. I think it has to be smaller and more compromised. Like, that looks too good for $50 in modern day LEGO Star Wars for a clone turbo tank. I think the best comparison I could draw, again, assuming the rumor is real, is that the Imperial Armored Marauder would have like a similar size to it, just with wheels for a clone turbo tank at that price. But, you know, it's just a wild set if it ends up being a $50 clone turbo tank. Like, obviously the figures would have to be the saving grace for any real fan out there that has been dying for a clone turbo tank, because this ain't going to fill that void. The other three previous turbo tanks are way bigger and better, and it makes that 2016 downscale look like a saint, you know, in comparison. So I'm personally hoping that this rumor turns out to be false. It's not actually a $50 clone turbo tank, and it ends up being something else from Rebuild the Galaxy that is just cooler or different or whatever. Something that's not some weird compromised version of a turbo tank, because if it ends up being that, to me that says that we wouldn't get a real good full-size turbo tank until probably like 27, 28, 29, 30, like quite a few more years of waiting. I don't know what exactly is going to happen here. I've got real mixed feelings on it. I mean, I can't say that I'm particularly excited by the prospect of a $50 turbo tank outside of the fact that it's going to make for some really good content about how bad it is, probably. Like, there's some good mock-ups of small turbo tanks. Don't get me wrong. It is possible that they could make a decent-looking small turbo tank. It's just still going to be a small, tiny, little garbage, by comparison, turbo tank compared to everything we've ever had before. I just looked over to my other shelf there. This was $40 this summer. There is zero. Okay, yeah, there's just no way they're making a $50 turbo tank. That rumor has to be false, right? The next rumor is one that's got me quite excited because it's something that I've hoped they would do for quite a while, but it's also got some conflicting information out there of other leakers saying that it's not going to be that and that it'll end up being something else. So the rumor currently is that 75417 is going to be a $200, 1,513 piece UCS AT-ST. And I don't know if it would carry the UCS branding or not, but the last UCS AT-AT came out in 2006, so it's been a dang minute since we've had one, and it just makes sense to me that it would fit in this price point. 1,068 pieces on the last AT-ST, 1,513 pieces on this AT-ST, so 500 more pieces. The original one was $80, this one at 200, inflation, more parts, whatever. Couple of minifigs probably with Chewbacca and a pilot if it ends up being in the UCS AT-ST, which again, some leakers are saying it's not going to, which makes me think it's just not going to. But yeah, I'm pretty hopeful for this one. There's not too much to talk about. I mean, a UCS AT-ST, if it is, we kind of know what that would look like, just a little bit more detailed. So yeah, very hopeful for that one because I think that would be dope. And even if it doesn't end up coming true, I think this is something that logically makes sense for LEGO to do again eventually. Our final rumor might be the new worst rumor of 2025 in a $40 327th Legion battle pack. Set number 75431, 258 pieces, and again, $40. So this means in 5 years, we have gone from $15 battle packs to $40 battle packs. And this is assuming that this is essentially going to be a 501st battle pack-esque set where you get 4 clones and then some droids thrown in there to make it feel like it's more worth your money. Now, I think this would obviously include some counterpart droids, some B1s, some B2s, but I also feel like that's wholly unnecessary. We already have that. Like, why would they do this? Maybe commando droids or something, just something to spice it up, something that's different than the standard that every Clone Trooper set gets as its counterpart. I think there's no reasonable expectation of like a Commander Bly in a set like this. LEGO has not been putting named Clone Troopers outside of Vaughn into battle packs, so I just don't expect it. I would expect Bly to show up somewhere else, whether that's in 2025, whether that's further along, but I just don't expect him in this set. Most of the time, they aren't including the commander, so I just can't say that I expect it. Otherwise, it's hard to know what to expect from this set. Like, what kind of bit, like, are we just going to get another ATRT, another BARC speeder? I saw some people saying that we could get the little, like, creature that the 327th Troopers ride around on Felucia, I think it was. So, yeah, there's some weird potential for a cool little build in this set. So I'd love to see something fresh there, but it's impossible to know. Obviously, the other note is that the 327th Troopers, hopefully they're getting new helmets this year. I mean, they've known for a few years now that their Phase 2 helmet is not a good solution. They know that the print sucks. And on top of that, just like the Galactic Marines, if these are based on Revenge of the Sith, Order 66, Felucia, like, these guys should have waist capes. And they should absolutely not be printed. I don't know why this is still a conversation so many years later. Like, both of these things should have been fixed 2 years ago. Those are the latest 2025 rumors. Some of the worst ones, possibly, of 2025. $50 turbo tank, a battle pack that only costs $10 less for the 327th. I know obviously the prospect of 327th is exciting, but given the price and possible quality defects, isn't that exciting? Make sure you subscribe if you're new here, and you can check out more LEGO Star Wars videos on the end screen now.